So starting a story, adding on to it. I give examples for oral recording so that that can be part of the revision process, because often multilingual and multi-ethnic kids, when they are hearing back how they sounded in their writing, they're able to like catch their own mistakes and or catch how they wanted it to sound. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that it works in every curricular area, but often families don't recognize that. Families don't recognize that that is really rich and important storytelling. And so, you know, there are ideas like photo elicitation where we can take photos alongside families and have this kind of shared literacy experience where we ask a bunch of questions. Who's outside the frame? Who wasn't in the frame? Who's taking the photo? What was the context of this photo? How old was I at this time? Were you alive? Were you not? Kind of generating those questions so that families have those to then discuss with their kids. I talk about all kinds of oral history projects when it comes to kind of like who's in your collective, who are the people who shape you, and then what are the conversations that you could have with those folks that then we can record and keep memories around. And I took that into curricular work so that it doesn't feel kind of like isolated.
Okay, so you look at getting families involved with their, okay, I mean, to me, that's a great way to partner with, you know, the schools, between the families and also at the school and the teachers and things like that. I like the idea of the photo. I think you said solicitation project. Is that what, did I say it correctly? Solicitation? It was elicitation or solicitation?
Elicitation.
Okay.
Elicitation. It's the idea that a photo can elicit a ton of conversation.
Got you.
That a single photo can elicit a ton of conversation. So I can give you an example.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, my closest aunt on my mother's side died very quickly of colon cancer. And when she was dying, I flew to go see her in Virginia. And because my parents lived, you know, their stuff was all destroyed in the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s. I don't have any photos of my family when they were young. And so my aunt happened to have just like a few. I was able to, as before she passed away, have a conversation with her around these single photographs. And so we spent hours poring over just a handful of photographs. And so I was asking things like down to the detail, like it's almost closely looking at a visual, right? Over and over and over again, closely reading a visual and asking every question under the sun. Like, whose shadow is this? Who had a camera? What time of day was this? Where, right? Everything that you can possibly generate, and how much I then was able to learn as a result, and how those stories would not have existed. I would not have known those. They would not have been passed down to me had I not had that opportunity. And so that's the kind of idea. I literally do it in family lab sites where I invite families to bring old family photographs or community photos, being cognizant that families might not have those artifacts, into the school building. I model it with the kids in front of them. And then they go off with their family members and they talk wildly. Those often then can springboard into writing, because then what they've done is brainstorm vignettes, small moments, and personal narrative ideas. What then happens? Families now know that that's how brainstorming works. And that's what we're trying to elicit in like a literacy classroom. What's also happening is identity work. They're like learning about themselves. They're learning about their pasts.